So today we're going to talk about something else, a little bit different. It's still real estate related. This is talking about credit. So I went to a class recently. You know, as a real estate professional licensed here in Colorado, we're already required to go to a certain amount of continuing education or CE courses to where we can learn about what's going on in the industry. And then as a realtor, we step that up a notch, right? We have a strict code of ethics that we follow. So we have additional training for that. And so today I went, or not today, but the other day I went to a class, and I'm going to pass this on to you, where we talked about credit scores. And, you know, a lot of times, at least for, you know, like those of you that check it through the Credit Karma, or for me, I'm with Navy Federal. You know, I was in the Navy, so I've always had Navy Federal since I was in the Navy, and I've continued it on. They're a great credit union. But they give me every month on my statement, they'll let me know if my credit score has went up or down. Well, that Credit Karma score and that Navy Federal score, those are kind of like feel good or consumer scores, right? They're not your actual score. Like if you're going to go buy a television or get a credit card, or you're checking out at the Best Buy and they're like, hey, if you open up a credit line with us or credit card with us, we'll give you, 20% off, or whatever it is, or buying a car or buying a house. Those all have different models, different credit scoring models. And the one that you get from Credit Karma, or the one you get on your credit card statement or your credit union statements, those don't go through any of those models. All they do is tell you kind of a general idea of what your credit score is. So you might be really shocked, right? If you go to apply for a mortgage and you find out that they check with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and then they do the middle FICO, and you're like, wait a minute, why is that score so low? Well, think about it. Your home loan is usually the largest loan you're going to have in your life. So it's a lot of money, and then it's spread out for a long period of time, right? 20, 30, 15, 20, 30 years. So your credit score, the investors that are going to invest in that type of product, they want to protect their investment. They want more guardrails on that they're going to get their money back over the long haul. So, you know, and on the other side of that, let's say you're going to go buy a TV, like you got a big football game coming up or something, or a big basketball game. And so you want to go buy a new TV for your friends to come over and watch the game. You don't quite have the funds. You're like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to go buy this at like the Rent-A-Center where I can make payments. So you go do that. Well, that is, first of all, the interest rates are much higher, right? Your mortgage is down here around 5-6%. And that rate, they can be up there around 20-25%. So they're going to get their money back much faster. And so their scoring model on that's going to be a little looser. They're going to allow you to have a little bit lower score, maybe have some hiccups in your credit. They're not going to worry about that too much because they're going to get a down payment on that TV, which is probably enough to almost already cover their costs. And then you're going to be paying payments on it to cover the rest of it, of what they're selling it to you for, plus the interest. So they're not going to be quite as strict as someone that's loaning you money to buy a house. So that's a little bit about it. Each one of those have a different scoring model, whether it be a car or a credit card or a store credit or your house. It's all different. All right, so that's one thing I wanted to get into, because I don't want you to think like if you go and apply for a loan and then all of a sudden you get all these offers, right? All these trigger leads come in and you're like, wait a minute, I applied for that loan but at that bank, but then they went and sold my information. Well, that's not quite how it works. There are third-party companies out there, and when you do apply for those loans, there is a trigger that happens, and when they get that lead, then they can sell that lead, and then all these other companies start reaching out to you and say, hey, we'll give you credit for this, we'll give you credit for that, and it can be very frustrating.